You were supposed to be a failure of the Federation's genetic experiments. Yet you're kept captive in the city, with no need to work, no morgi, living a retired life of pure leisure. However, you chose to become a cleaner, all because a voice echoed in your head. Keep killing living creatures, and you can endlessly plunder their talents. Kill a trash fish, swimming skill +1. Kill a wild dog, simping skill +1. Kill a geoduck. Your name is Chun Fan. In your past life, you live like a weed trampled by everyone. You never expected that when you open your eyes this time, you'd have transmigrated straight into the future. You stand before this massive floor-to-ceiling window, looking up at the dazzling spaceport in the sky. Below, it is the space elevator piercing the heavens. Pretty spectacular, right? Too bad it has absolutely nothing to do with you. You, Chun Fan, are just a resident whose genetic mutation failed. To put it nicely, you're part of the vulnerable groups protected by the Federation. To put it bluntly, you're a bird in a cage. That smart wristband locked tightly around your wrist is your electronic shackle. Flap, flap. A goldfish suddenly leaped out of the fish tank in front of you, thrashing desperately on the carpet. Right then, in the room, sounded that sweet, artificial voice that always spiked your heart rate. Master, your goldfish has jumped out of its tank. According to the Federation Animal Protection Law, if a pet dies of unnatural causes, you will face the penalty of having your adoption rights revoked. You grit your back teeth, a surge of anger rushing straight to your head. To hell with the protection law. You lunge forward to grab the fish, but you trip and fall hard onto the carpet. Your fingers just happen to touch the slippery remains of the goldfish. Stone cold, you grumble indignantly in your heart. Just as you're about to get up and argue with this mechanical AI, suddenly, a cold message explodes in your mind. Swimming +1. You freeze. The complaints that just reach your lips are swallowed right back down. What the hell? The goldfish is gone. And you got a swimming skill? Master, the video of the goldfish's accident has been uploaded to the court. The AI is still chattering away. It is recommended you use a number 16 eco bag for cleanup. And I suggest you book a therapist immediately. Otherwise, you will be forcibly taken to a recovery facility. Shut up, you growl, staring hard at your own hands. Your heart is pounding wildly in your chest. A shiver of ecstasy instantly sweeps through your whole body. To hell with the therapist. To hell with the genetic failure. How is this a dead end? This is practically your ultimate comeback move. As long as you touch lifeless animals, you can get free skills. You want to live, and not just live. You want to trample this god-awful world underfoot. But before that, you need to get money, get power, and get more lifeless animals. The next day, you push the door open and head out without hesitation. On the street, maglev cars soar above your head, whistling past an altitude of 4 meters. Figures riding anti-gravity hoverboards flash right past you. Those people have completely bare wrists. They are citizens, the high and mighty gene warriors. You look up, staring intently at that giant holographic billboard on the building. An S-shaped golden hiltless curve blade is darting rapidly through midair, tearing through the air. That's the void-rending personal weapon, with a minimum usage requirement of a Class C citizen. You touch the cold S on your wrist, the class marker, and sneer. Sooner or later, all these things will be mine. A mere 12 hours later, you're sitting in a private restaurant that blocks all external signals. Sitting across from you is this silver-haired, plaid shirt-wearing middle-aged man, Lu Jijia. Mr. Chun Fan, the boss of Anzaji Service Company. Lu Jijia cuts a piece of steak without even looking up. To be honest, there aren't many people willing to come out and do the dirty work anymore. You've read the contract, right? I read it. You lean forward, eyes sharp. High-end cleaning services. Cleaning mansions for politicians and the rich. The condition is that during work, I hand over my wristband and cut off all smart network connections. Smart kid. Lu Jijia sets down his knife and fork, looking right into your eyes. These big shots have too many shady secrets. Smart robots can leak info, but residents like you with no network access make the best blind and deaf pawns. In our line of work, a loose mouth brings trouble. Understand? You understand, of course. Mansions of rich politicians without surveillance? There's absolutely no shortage of weird and wonderful things, or even rare pets carrying powerful genes in there. And what if they accidentally lose their lives? The corners of your mouth curl up into an undisguised, fanatical smirk. Boss Joe, when can I take orders? You ask straight up, your tone revealing uncontainable excitement. Lu Jijia is taken aback for a second, clearly not expecting a bottom feeder like you to be so passionate. But he smiles, a very satisfied smile. Welcome to Ansiji. Chun Fan. You shake his hand, your palms sweating slightly. You only have one goal right now. I want to buy a house. You stare at Lu Jijia across from you, emphasizing every word, with no extra bullshit. Your motive is sharper than a blade. You want a private territory of your own, a sanctuary without damn security cameras and mechanical AIs. Lu Jijia laughs. The company has dorms. Interested? Not for now. You flatly reject it, living on someone else's turf. How is that any different from now? Once the meal is over, there's no dragging things out. The next morning, you suppress your morning crankiness, ignoring that annoying AI butler in your ear, nagging and suggesting you exercise more. You head straight to Anziji Service Company. The company isn't big, but the rules are strict. Receiving you is a veteran named Wu Bing. Chen Fan, right? Remember the rules of our trade. Wu Bing hands you a set of work clothes, his eyes sharp. The places we go are private estates of VIPs. Don't look at what you shouldn't look at. Don't ask what you shouldn't ask. Got it. Got it. You take the clothes. Right after, an anti-gravity car whose windows turn completely opaque gray pulls up in front of you. The cabin is like a blind box. This is all to protect the privacy of the rich. The first thing you do when you get in is take off the smart wristband that proves your identity. Click. The moment the wristband leave your hand, you take a deep breath. Long-lost freedom. No surveillance. No heart rate monitors. No annoying suggestions. The car stops. Identity verified. Wristbands handed over. You enter a ridiculously large manor. A butler in his 50s drops a cold line. Clean up the garden, and don't wander off before turning and vanishing. Pulling weeds and shoveling dirt is incredibly dull. But you work your ass off. Right then, things suddenly take a turn. A dark shadow darts out from the vines, lunging straight for your face. You don't even think. Muscle memory kicks in instantly. The iron shovel in your hand swings in a wide arc. Smack! A loud thud. A massive bat is swatted hard onto the ground by you. Golden liquid seeps into the soil. It's completely dead. At the same time, your brain buzzes, and a line of cold text drops down. Echolocation +1. Your pupils shrink. It's real. The skill you got from the dead goldfish yesterday wasn't a hallucination. Killing animals really does drop skills. But the next second, a wave of frantic panic washes over you. In this twisted sci-fi world, harming animals is a felony. You're going to get sent to prison over this unlucky bat. Bro, you whip your head around, your tone tight. Wu Bing runs over and glances at the bat remains on the ground. You think he's going to call the cops. But the fat guy's eyes light up. He slaps his thigh excitedly. Beautifully done. Chun Fan, the client is going to have to pay us extra. You freeze. Isn't killing animals against the law? For the poor, it's illegal. For the rich, it's called pest control. Wu Bing swiftly bags the bat in a black sack. These fat cats think applying for a professional exterminator is too much of a hassle. So they prefer guys like us who accidentally deal with pests. If anything happens, they take the fall and we get the cash. So that's how it is. You sneer. To hell with all lives being equal. A rich man's lawn is worth way more than an animal's life. How is this cleaning? This is practically your personal training ground. Brother Wu, you grip the iron shovel tightly. Your eyes change, like a wolf staring at its prey. Look over there. A plump rat just poked its head out of the dirt. Take it out. Wu Bing lowers his head. You snap your wrist, and the shovel flies from your hands like a throwing knife, pinning that rat dead to the ground with pinpoint accuracy. The rat twitches a couple of times, then stops completely. Dynamic vision +1. Sweet. An indescribable ecstasy shoots right up your spine to your brain. You just can't stop. Second rat down. Dynamic vision +1. Third one down. Dynamic vision +1. You're like a ruthless harvester, sweeping through the entire garden. As long as it's breathing, as long as you can kill it, you spare absolutely nothing. After work in the afternoon, back at the company, Lu Jijia quickly transfers 462 credits into your account. The moment you step out, the smile on Lu Jijia's face vanishes. He looks at Wu Bing. How's the kid? A natural-born killer. Wu Bing recalls the image of you slaughtering the rats. Still a bit shaken. It was pure reflex. He's got violent genes in his bones. Good. Lu Jijin narrows his eyes. Given the tougher jobs, he wants to earn money and buy his freedom. Then let him work for us. They think they're using you, but they have no idea that you don't just want their money. You want to milk every single upgrade pack they provide. That night, you return to your cold, cramped home. Full of hope, you check the housing prices. Even the cheapest ones cost hundreds of thousands of credits. And there's a near 10% annual property tax. This is robbery. Master, your pulse is elevated. I suggest you do some relaxing exercises. Master, you have been staring at the screen for too long. I recommend you rest. It's this annoying voice again. You clench your fists tightly, veins throbbing on your forehead. With a fit of absolute rage, you tear this trash system and this garbage class hierarchy to shreds in your mind, trampling it 10,000 times over. But it's not time to flip the table yet. You close your eyes, take a deep breath, and call out from the bottom of your heart. A summons only you can hear. Skills. Instantly, a stat panel unfolds in your mind. Swimming, beginner 1 out of 10. Echolocation, beginner 1 out of 10. Dynamic vision, beginner 4 out of 10. Looking at this tangible power, your mouth finally twists into a savage sneer. Right now, there's only one thought in your head. Test the new skills. This echolocation that dropped yesterday. What the hell is it exactly? You stand in your claustrophobic room, take a deep breath, and blow a sharp, sudden whistle. In an instant, your brain booms. The entire pitch-black room reconstructs instantly in your mind. It's not an image seen with the naked eye, but an absolutely precise black and white. Plot de wireframe. You can even see through the plaster, making out the hidden wiring inside, but only lasts 3 seconds. Once 3 seconds pass, the image shatters, and a wave of intense weakness violently drains your energy. You plop down onto the bed, gasping for air. You stare at your trembling hands. But instead of being scared, you're so thrilled you want to scream. Who cares about the high energy cost? This is practically a see-through radar. Early next morning, at Anshiji, the boss, Lu Jijia, hands you a bottle of water. His eyes look like he's admiring a perfect murder weapon. Sleep well. Got a big job today. You don't say a word. Just take the water and nod. Thanks, boss. Lu Jijia watches your back, a cold smirk playing on his lips. He thinks you're a born thug. You couldn't care less what he thinks. You only care about what kind of prey you'll encounter today. Brother Wu. You walk up to the veteran, Wu Bing. Wu Bing's whole vibe has changed today. He's not wearing those raggedy work clothes from yesterday. Instead, he's carrying a heavy briefcase. Chun Fan, you're my assistant today. Wu Bing stares at you, a mocking grin creeping up his face. You didn't really think I was just some Class F loser who sweeps the streets, did you? You frown. Wu Bing taps the smart tag on his wrist. This thing is just for show for the feds. Let's go. Today, I'll show you what the real dirty work looks like. You say nothing, but your adrenaline is already pumping. Dirty work? Bring it on. You died once already, and you're sick and tired of being a worthless weed trampled underfoot. You're going to climb to the top, even if your hands are soaked in blood. Next, you once again get into that fully sealed blind box car, hand over your wristbands, and after the car stops, you arrive at a bizarre dojo deep in the mountains. No cameras. No ai. Surrounded by shadows cast by a dense bamboo forest. It gives off a suffocating, spine-chilling vibe. Just stay in this yard. Wu Bing leads you to a moss-covered fish pond. Then, with a click, he opens the briefcase. Your eyes instantly narrow. The case isn't holding cleaning supplies at all. Inside is an ancient bronze shield etched with weird runes, and a short copper sword gleaming with a cold light. Wu Bing holds the shield in one hand and the sword in the other. His aura changes instantly. He locks eyes with you, and drops a line that makes your scalp tingle. Chun Fan, use your brain. If human genes can mutate, what makes you think other animals can't? You sharply inhale a breath of cold air. So that's it. This isn't high-end housekeeping at all. You guys are actually here to clear out mutant monsters for the rich. Wu Bing, sword in hand, cautiously approaches the bamboo hut. Right at that moment, you suddenly hear Wu Bing's voice coming from the side. Chun Fan, go clean up over by the fish pond. You instinctively start to nod, but the instant you turn around, a massive sense of wrongness rushes to your head. Wu Bing is clearly right in front of you, but the voice, drifted over from the fish pond on the side. Every hair on your body stands on end. Without any hesitation, you purse your lips and blow a very low, sharp whistle. Echolocation, activate. A 3D wireframe instantly maps out in your mind, showing everything crystal clear. The Wu Bing standing in front of you didn't speak at all. And inside that inconspicuous 3-square-meter fish pond lurks a massive pitch-black vortex of energy. You don't scream, and you don't back down. In your eyes flashes the ferocity of a desperado. You grip the iron shovel tightly, taking 1, 2 steps toward the pond. Then you wind your arm back, snap your waist, and bring the shovel down like a battle axe, slamming it viciously into that dark shadow. Water explodes outward. A black mutant fish with a head over half a meter wide, Novedi, and extremely deformed, breaches the surface. It opens its jagged maw and shoots a terrifying jet of high-pressure water right at your face, already prepared. The moment you slammed the shovel down, you used the momentum to dive backward, tumbling frantically, scrambling and rolling right out the yard gates. Just as you escape by the skin of your teeth, a loud boom echoes in your mind. Camouflage +4. You lie low behind a large boulder outside the yard wall, panting heavily, your heart about to shatter your ribcage. But your mouth curls into a crazy grin. Jackpot. 4 stat points all at once. Chun Fan, get your ass in here. Wu Bing's breathless roar comes from the yard. You poke your head out and see the copper short sword in Wu Bing's hand, driven deep into the mutant fish's skull. Golden liquid spills all over the ground. You cautiously interrogate Wu Bing about what he had for lunch yesterday, and only walking on trembling legs once you're sure he isn't an illusion. As Wu Bing stuffs the monster's corpse into a special bag, the way he looks at you completely changes. If it weren't for your shovel strike just now, forcing the monster out, he probably would have been ambushed. Chun Fan, if you leak a single word of what I'm about to say, you will instantly vanish from this world. Wu Bing lowers his voice, his tone freezing cold. You stare at him. Tell me, this thing is called a Mirage Siren Fish, an Earth-class mutant creature, capable of creating illusions and camouflage. Wu Bing lifts the bag with the remains and looks at you. It is the core raw material for producing high-level gene serums. You freeze. Gene serums? Wu Bing sneers, brutally tearing open the truth of this world. Did you really think those high and mighty gene warriors awakened on their own? It's all from serums refined, from the essential source of monsters like this, pumped into them. And another thing, Wu Bing pokes you hard in the chest. You think you're a trash injection failure? Let me tell you, gene injection tech was 100% perfected centuries ago. You're not a failure. You are the expendable guinea pigs the pharmaceutical oligarchs used to test new drugs. The original owner of your body was used as a live lab rat by them, tortured until he died. Once they didn't need you anymore, they threw you away like garbage, back into the lowest slums. Boom. These words detonate like a nuke in your brain. The original owner didn't just drop dead. He was treated like a lab rat, used up, thrown back to the slums, and left to die. You clench your fists so hard, your nails practically dig into your flesh. The rage in your chest turns into a palpable killing intent, burning wildly. Treated you like a lab rat. Treated you like scrap. You look at the monster's blood left on the ground and feel the newly acquired camouflage +4 in your mind. Perfect. These self-righteous oligarchs and politicians better wash their necks, because you, Chun Fan, are not only going to survive in this man-eat-man world, you're going to climb right up this food chain and chew them all to pieces bite by bite. Chun Fan takes a deep breath, etching every single word Wu Bing just said into his brain. Think the world is dark. Wu Bing dusts off his hands and sneers. You didn't really buy the oligarchs' bullshit, thinking biochips were for the safety of all mankind, did you? You stare at him. Brother Wu, with your power, why still wear the tag? Because I need to play dumb. Wu Bing points at the smartwatch on your wrist. Remember this. Those big shots you see online, 90% of them don't even implant chips. The remaining 10% are just marionettes. That chip is a shackle. Every move you make, every word you say in your sleep, is transmitted straight to the people watching you. You get it now. No wonder the original owner died so mysteriously. Wu Bing stares at you. throwing down his chips and giving you 3 pieces of advice. First, buy your own place. Absolute privacy. Second, as long as you're still breathing, never go to an official facility for a medical checkup. Third, smash that piece of trash watch on your wrist. I can lend you the money if you're broke, on the condition that you work honestly for me from now on. I'll think about it. You don't agree immediately. You need money. You need to get off the grid. But you'll never sell your life so easily to anyone. In the afternoon, you're sitting on a park bench. People are coming and going around you, eyes hollow, like a herd of captive walking corpses. You're just figuring out how to get some cash, right? Then, without warning, the hairs on your neck stand on end. An extremely sharp, extremely dangerous feeling instantly grips your heart. You pretend to casually look up. A middle-aged man is walking past, 10 meters ahead of you. He doesn't turn his head. He just uses the corner of his eye to subtly sweep a glance over you. Just that one look, and your brain goes off like an air raid siren, clearly locking onto the source of that gaze. And it's malice, disguise, +4. It dawns on you, and you almost laugh out loud in satisfaction. This isn't just a simple disguise. This is a passive anti-reconnaissance radar system. As long as someone has designs on you, the moment they lock onto you, you can feel it instantly. You lean back on the bench, expressionless. But the killing intent in your heart is already boiling. Who's watching you? The company? Or the masterminds treating you like a lab rat? Let them watch. The current you is no longer that helpless prey waiting to be slaughtered. Meanwhile, in an underground surveillance room you can't see, bam, a bald supervisor slams his hand on the desk, staring intently at your data on the screen, sweating bullets. Something's wrong with this kid. Why hasn't he said a single word these past few days? The AI warned him 5 times that the rug was dangerous. Why didn't he change it? The blonde guy next to him gulps. The targets. Medical data from 6 months ago showed no anomalies. But his signal has been dropping constantly over the last 2 days. What's worse, he joined a cleaning company that specializes in dirty work for politicians. The bald supervisor's scalp tingles. You were part of that batch of gene serum experiments, a surviving failure. If your mutation data leaks, or if their political rivals catch wind of it, their entire department will face severe consequences. His vitals are all in the red right now. The bald man grits his teeth. We can't let him officially join. Arrange a traffic accident right away. Critically injure him. Drag him straight to our hospital. Extract his energy core and run a full diagnostic. A lethal trap meant for you has already been set in motion. The next day, inside Anzaji Company's secret room, you didn't sleep a wink last night. Your brain was in overdrive. As soon as you walk in, right in front of Wu Bing, you take off the smart watch without hesitation and slam it on the table. Brother Wu, your eyes are bloodshot, staring dead at Wu Bing, getting straight to the point. You said yesterday that those big shots don't get chips implanted. So how do they evolve? How do they control us? Very simple. Wu Bing laughs. Gene serums, ancient martial arts, and secret techniques. The serums are refined by them using the essence of monster origins. Ancient martial arts push the human body to its limits. Secret techniques are lethal skills forged with blood. He leans forward, looking at you. Chun Fan, in that government-assigned apartment of yours, you're monitored 24/7. Every little move is recorded. Are you willing to be a nobody your whole life? Wu Bing pauses for a moment and throws out the deadly bait. Do you want to become a real gene warrior? Now's the time. You take a deep breath and instantly put on the extremely fanatical and greedy expression expected of a 19-year-old kid from the slums. You grab Wu Bing's arm, your voice trembling. Brother Wu, you have a way. Your act is too convincing. Wu Bing thinks he's found your weak spot. He thinks you took the bait, but he has no idea that the person standing before him is a monster who can infinitely extract skills just by defeating his prey. You want to evolve? You don't need their garbage serums at all. Not only are you going to use him to buy a house and break the surveillance, you're also going to step on these people's shoulders to uproot those bastards hiding in the shadows, plotting against you. Chun Fan right now, you only have one extremely clear goal in your head. Escape the surveillance. Get money, get power. You sit across from the boss of Anzaji Company, Lu Jijia. No nonsense, straight to the point. Boss, I'll sign the contract, but I want to move today. I need the company to provide a place to live. I don't care how bad the conditions are. Just one requirement. Absolute privacy. A gleam of satisfaction flashes in Lu Jiji's eyes. He likes lone wolves like you, willing to work just for a taste of freedom. Straightforward. Lu Jiji slaps an official contract and a points exchange sheet down in front of you. Once you're on board, gene serums, ancient martial arts, secret techniques, you can trade your points for them here. But let's get the ugly truth out of the way. In our line of work, you could meet an untimely end at any moment. You look down and scan the exchange sheet. Earth Tier Gene Purification Serum, 1 million points. And Gene Purification Serum, 100,000 points. A million? You sneer inwardly. To hell with your points. Once you start slaughtering the mutated monsters in this city, feeding them into your own skill panel, it'll blow these garbage serums out of the water. Give me the pen. You snatch the pen and sign the name Chun Fan. Then, you decisively terminate your lease. Click, right in front of the community staff. You unhesitatingly unbuckle that government-issued 24-hour monitoring smartwatch from your wrist and throw it back. In the afternoon, carrying a few worn-out clothes, you walk into the old suburban apartment assigned by the company. An old mechanical door lock, a manual flush toilet, manual faucets, no bib gums, and definitely no nagging AI steward. Now, this is a place for the living. You look around this extremely bare-bones room and let out a long sigh of relief, a long-lost sense of security. Finally lets the muscles in your body relax. Swapping to a newly bought, non-smart vintage comms watch, you deadbolt the door, take off your shirt, and stand in front of the bathroom mirror. It's time to test out your loot. You stare at yourself in the mirror and roar in your mind, disguise. Suddenly, a strange tingling sensation sweeps across your facial nerves. Visibly, the double eyelids in the mirror melt into monolids. Those originally sharp eyes narrow into slits. The muscles in your cheeks droop slightly. In just one short minute, you transform from a cold 19-year-old kid into a sleazy-looking, greasy middle-aged man right before your eyes. You clench your fists, heart pounding wildly. This disguise doesn't just change your appearance. It changes your muscle structure. This is a perfect get-out-of-jail-free card. A top-tier disguise mask. After holding it for 20 minutes, an intense wave of weakness hits you. You revert to normal, drenched in sweat. But you feel so good you want to howl at the sky. However, cruel reality doesn't give you a moment to breathe. Early the next morning, acting like nothing happened, you stand at the bus stop waiting for a ride to work. There aren't many people at the stop. Right then, a very ordinary-looking young man walks into the shelter. He doesn't look at you, but the moment he steps into the shelter, the hairs on your body stand up violently. The passive disguise radar in your mind. Blah, piercing danger alarm. Other people look for a seat when they enter the station, but when this guy walks in, the corner of his eye is like a venomous snake's tongue, locking onto you tight. You look blankly at the street ahead, but your brain is racing. Who's this guy? Coming for me? Trying to get my energy sample? Or trying to eliminate me outright? A bus pulls into the stop. It's not the route to your company. The doors open. The young man leans forward slightly, using the crowd as cover. His hand moves towards you. He's getting ready to strike as you brush past each other. In the blink of an eye, without a single second of hesitation, your leg muscles explosively fire, and you lunge up the steps like a cheetah in one bound, stepping onto the bus, charging straight into a bus going the completely wrong way. Bam, the door's shut. Through the glass, you look down at the young man on the platform. His feigned calmness completely shatters, and he's now frantically rushing toward the distant taxi stand. A cold smirk curls your lips. Trying to bite me? Eat my dust. You transfer halfway, successfully shaking off your tail. Stepping into Ansiji company. You don't tell anyone about being followed. In this dog-eat-dog world, you trust no one. Lu Jijia calls you into his office and pushes a heavy black briefcase right in front of you. Chun Fan, this is a virtual training helmet. Lu Jijia stares at you. You get 1 month of paid training at home. The estates of these eccentric, rich folks. They're crawling with all kinds of deadly creatures. Without some survival skills, you won't last a day. You press your hand against the case, feeling the cold metal, and your eyes instantly burn with intensity. Virtual training to identify dangerous creatures? No. For you, this is the perfect starting village. A monster codex custom-made for you. Don't worry, boss. You grab the case and turn to leave, leaving behind a fiercely ambitious silhouette. As long as the money's right, I'll clean out whatever monsters they've got. You return to your safe house, lock the door, and rip the case open. Inside is an old-school motorcycle-style VR helmet and a pair of wire gloves. This is the level 1 safety training gear Anseji gave you to teach you how to clear lethal toxins from mansions. You put the helmet on without a second thought. Your vision flashes. You're standing in an incredibly realistic simulated garden. Evaluation task. Locate and eliminate hidden hazardous targets. The system's electronic voice rings out. You pick up the shovel, your eyes rapidly scanning the fish pond. A dark shape is swimming underwater beneath the fake rocks. An electric eel. You don't hesitate for even half a second. You switch to the insulated gloves, swing the shovel, and viciously thrust it into the water. Crack! The shovel perfectly smashes the eel's vitals. Dozens of koi fish in the pond instantly go belly up from the surging high voltage. Right then, several notifications explode in your head. Swimming +1. Electric mastery +1. You freeze in place. Your eyes erupt with a wolf-like frenzy. This is insane. Defeating targets in virtual space gives you skills in reality. You're so thrilled your scalp tingles. Forget this so-called safety evaluation. This is clearly your very own personal EXP farm. For the next 10 days, you don't even step out the door. You completely turn into a harvesting machine, aggressively farming stats in the simulation. Poison frog jumps at your face. Kick it away. Light mastery +1. Viper ambush. Hit it with the shovel. Thermal vision +1. Bat flying at you? Sweat it down with a net. Echolocation +1. Your panel stats are skyrocketing every single day. At night, lying in the bathtub, you stick out your index finger. Your fingertip actually glows with a blinding light, even heating the bathwater until it sizzles and steams. Although this much heat isn't a threat yet, you know very well that the seed of power has been firmly planted. But while you're having the time of your life indoors, someone outside is going absolutely insane. That hooded assassin who is targeting you, wanting your energy sample, has been staking out your apartment for a full 10 days, watching you refuse to leave the house. His murderous intent has become completely uncontainable. Day 11. The evaluation ends. 98 points. At Anseji Company, boss Lu Jijia is staring intently at the playback of your movements on screen. The ruthlessness and precision of that shovel strike on the electric eel makes even this ruthless boss, who is used to life and death, gasp in shock. This kid's neural reaction speed. He's definitely awakened some terrifying talent. Lu Jijia immediately calls you into his office. No empty talk. He unlocks level 1 mission access for you right away. Get to work. In our line of business, striking is an instinct. The boss pats your shoulder. Understood. You nod and decisively accept a basement clearing task with a reward of 1,500 points and turn to leave. Honestly, you didn't care about the boss's little test at all. Right now, all you care about is getting money for better gear. You arrive at the bus stop, blending into the numb crowd lining up to board. Just then, that hooded young man in sunglasses finally catches an opportunity. Like a viper pushed past its breaking point, he uses the pushing crowd to violently press against your back. The back of his hand, seemingly by accident, roughly brushes against the back of yours. You violently flinch, feeling like you just got struck by high-voltage static. You instinctively turn around, only to see the hooded guy convulse violently. Your electric mastery, passive, triggered a weak electric counterattack. Just that one jolt, and the vicious glint in the guy's eyes instantly dissipates. His brain is immediately turned to mush. He forgets who he even is. Like a wandering ghost, he gets shoved right out of the bus by the people behind him. The doors close, and the bus starts moving. Bang! Outside the window, there's a sudden, sickening thud of flesh being hit, followed by screeching brakes. That brain-fried young man was hit directly by speeding anti-gravity hover car and sent flying over 10 meters. Dead on the spot. Inside the bus, alarms blare. Drone police instantly lock down the scene. You stand inside the bus, heart suddenly racing, because right at that second, an extremely abrupt notification exploded in your mind. Mecha piloting. +8. Holy crap. Your mind is buzzing. You look down at the back of your hand. There, right in front of you, is an extremely tiny, almost invisible red puncture mark. A wave of furious anger shoots straight to your head. If it wasn't the wrong time and place, You would absolutely point at that corpse outside the window and curse him out. Someone tried to assassinate you. Someone tried to extract your essence. But the guy who came after you wasn't just zapped by your subconscious electrical counterattack and turned into a vegetable. He straight up became roadkill. And the best part is, the core skill of his entire life dropped like loot for you. You lick your lips, touching the needle mark on your hand. Extreme, dangerous killing, intense surges in your eyes. Want to play me? Fine. I'm taking this on. Carrying your toolbox, you kick open the basement door, still replaying what just happened. On the bus in your head, that C-rank enhancer poked you with a needle, only to trigger your passive discharge, completely frying the biochip in his brain, showing up at my door asking to die, and gifting me a mecha skill too. You let out a cold laugh. Your eyes sharpen as you pull your thoughts back. You stare at the basement in front of you. Wooden dummies, sandbags, cold weapons, and expensive mutant beast fur cushions. It's obviously some master's training room. You don't care whose it is. Just get to work. You swing your hammer, smashing all the cold weapons without a second thought. Splinter the dummies. Slash the furs. Shove everything violently into special trash bags. No hosetaschen. No wasted movements. Right now you just want to get cash, get points, and get stronger. After throwing out the trash, you march straight back to Anzaji Company. You slam your hand on Boss Lu Jiji's desk. Boss, how do I unlock higher level training? You stare straight at him, your eyes filled with undisguised ambition. Lu Jijia taps the desk, cutting to the chase. Points. Level 1 is 3,000. Level 2 is 10,000. What? Not fast enough for you. I need high-value missions. You grit your teeth. Mission board updates at 8 a.m. tomorrow. If you want the good meat, it depends on how fast your hands are. Lu Jijia waves you off, dismissing you like a beggar. Understood. You turn and walk away, not even closing the door behind you. Getting home, the first thing you do is turn on the news screen. A crime scene photo pops up on the screen. A young man wearing sunglasses and a hooded sweatshirt, dead under a hover car. It's him, the guy who staked you out last month. The guy who tried to assassinate you on the bus today. You clench your fists hard and loudly curse him out. You don't use any specific swear words, but you viciously tell him off. All your pent-up frustration and anger instantly turns into the purest, most violent killing intent. Want to steal my essence? I'll drain your trump cards first. Just then, you grab the VR helmet and slap it onto your head. You have over 20,000 points on hand right now. You don't want to wait a single second. Start level 1 simulation. Custom target, electric eel. Max it out for 1,000. Points instantly gone. You don't even blink. In a virtual pool, you swing the insulated shovel like a madman, harvesting like crazy. Crack, crack. Electric mastery +1. Electric mastery +1. Who knows how long passed before you yank the helmet off. Collapsing into the bathtub, drenched in sweat. You stare dead at your right hand. BZZZT. A ball of faint blue electricity bursts out of nowhere in your palm, like a frenzied lightning snake slithering across your fingertips. It's no longer confined to your skin. It can finally leave your body. Electric mastery, ultimate. Your eyes are bloodshot. A crazy idea suddenly pops into your head. If I can discharge electricity, can I charge myself up? You immediately order a 5,000 kilowatt hours high voltage graphene battery from the black market. Half an hour later, the battery arrives. You grab 2 iron forks. Without hesitation, you jam one into the positive terminal and one into the negative terminal. You grip the metal handles tight. Violent currents instantly surge through your arms. There's no pain, only a scalp-tingling, extreme rush of pleasure. Every single cell is greedily devouring the electricity. You feel like a dried-up sponge, being instantly filled with power. 20 minutes later, you pull the forks out and crash heavily onto the bed, passing out immediately. This is the extreme hunger of overdrawing your power. Early the next morning, you wake up like a starving wolf. You chug 2 cartons of milk and rush straight out to take a job. You snagged a top-paying manual labor gig, cleaning a 2,000 square meter luxury outdoor pool, dosing chemicals, pumping water, power washing, bagging up the filters. You're like a tireless machine, flattening all obstacles at a brutal pace. The butler had barely finished inspecting it. You take the 1,200 credits and turn to leave. So what if it's a mansion of celebrities or politicians? To you, they're nothing but thin air. But after returning home, you look at the skills on your panel and fall deep into thought. The BG circuit board gives way too little EXP, and instant training is ridiculously expensive. You don't have any chances for real combat in the real world. Your eyes, slowly, shift toward that skill you got for free from your counterkill. Mecha piloting +8. If I can't kill in reality, then I'll train in the virtual world. You log straight into that underground fighting network with no ID restrictions, which runs purely on pay-to-win mechanics and combat. You use Mecha World to create a character. You casually type out a few words, wordy 8th master. You roll your wrists, your joints cracking loudly. A faint blue electrical arc flashes across your fingertips. You stare at the screen, a cruel smile tugging at the corner of your mouth. Let's see just how big of a storm this mecha skill that guy gifted me can stir up. Chun fan, you stare intently at the holographic screen in front of you. Test failed. APM, 65 per second. Required, 120 per second. Anyone else would have probably smashed their helmet and quit by now. But you've got a stubborn streak deep in your bones. You know very well that in this era of strict class stratification and human lives being treated like dirt in the interstellar age, if you want to turn things around, you have to seize every opportunity to get stronger, even if it's just from an underground dark MMO called Mecha World. You slip the sensor gloves back onto your hands, your eyes turning incredibly fierce. Failed. Then try again. Failed again. Try again. Finally, under your reckless persistence, the system flashes gold. Congratulations, wordy 8th master, on earning the level 1 piloting license. You don't care at all about that trash ID you casually created. Your eyes lock directly onto the 3rd mecha. Codename, Blade, Humanoid Assault Mecha. Equipped with a rocket jetpack, an energy shield in the left hand, and a plasma cutter in the right. The purest aesthetic of violence. You're the one. You smash the confirm button hard. However, the game officials throw a bucket of cold water on you. Mecha repair fees are astronomical. If it gets totaled, your IP address gets permanently banned. In the combat simulation that follows, your mecha gets chopped up like vegetables by the AI opponent, sliced into scrap metal. Warning, your combat reaction is too low. Not recommended to enter the real game. You rip off your helmet, panting heavily. Not enough. Your reaction speed still isn't fast enough. Early the next morning, you vent all the frustration from last night out in reality. Today is the weekend. Double pay. Without hesitation, you snatch up a whopping 1,600 credit. Elite Garden. Cleaning task. Pulling out red, endangered poisonous weeds and draining a fish pond full of mutant glow shrimp. You work roughly and quickly, showing no mercy. You couldn't care less which extremely powerful elite owns this yard. You only care about the points and money in your hand. The butler pays you straightforwardly, plus the perfect attendance bonus, and 4,200 credits are deposited straight into your account. After that, you impatiently rush back to your safe house, lock the deadbolt, and rush straight into the bathroom. The weakness from overdrawing your electrical energy yesterday is still there. You grit your teeth, your hands directly grabbing the positive and negative terminals of the high-voltage graphene battery you bought yesterday. The violent electric current instantly surges into your arms. There's no agonizing pain of electrocution, only the ultimate thrill of a dried sponge, madly soaking up water. You can even hear all the cells in your body roaring greedily. Roaring. 20 minutes later, you let go, totally refreshed, and filled with explosive power all over. Chun fan, you look at yourself with glowing eyes in the mirror. You know very well that right now, you can no longer be considered a pure human. In peak condition, you're like a beast full of power as you charge back into Mecha World. This time, your neural reaction speed, enhanced by the electric current, completely explodes. You duck and roll to dodge the incoming fire. Push off hard with your left foot, and the jetpack blasts off. Your blade mecha instantly breaks Mach 2. The plasma cutter in your hand turns into a blinding arc of death, slicing the opposing AI mecha right in half. Sparks fly everywhere. Basic combat training. Passed. Access to game granted. Then the scene shifts, and you spawn outside a gray steel fortress. This trash game is ridiculously shady, deducting a 300 credit info service fee per hour. You don't bother wasting words, directly piloting the 115-ton mecha and charging toward the plane's safe zone. You raised a 5-meter-long plasma greatsword. and casually swing it at a large tree in front of you. The massive tree crashes down, smashing a bird's nest. 3 little birds lose their lives. At that very moment, 3 messages pop up consecutively in your mind. Flight +1, flight +1, flight +1. You freeze on the spot in the cockpit. All the energy in your body rushes to your head. Chun fan, you take a sharp breath of cold air. Birds in a virtual game can actually grant skills to your physical body. In reality, a truly terrifying thought strikes your mind like lightning. This isn't a game at all. This planet, these scenes, they're all real. You lick your lips feverishly, completely descending into madness. You switch on the mecha's bioscanning radar right away, and the radar instantly locks onto all the birds around. For the next 2 hours, all the players in the newbie planes witness an incredibly bizarre, even insane scene. À 115 ton combat mecha, jumping up and down with supersonic thrusters on full blast, waving a plasma giant blade, oscillating hundreds of thousands of times a second, just to chop down palm-sized little birds. Is this guy sick in the head? Probably a loser who gets stepped on in reality and came to the game to vent. Absolute psycho, using a mecha to slash birds. The repair fee will teach him a lesson soon enough. The public channel is full of sneers and mockery directed at you. But you couldn't care less about those idiots. What the hell do they know? Looking at the soaring numbers on your panel. Flight Advanced 135/1000. You feel so good you could tilt your head back and laugh like a maniac. In just 2 short hours, 135 birds have fallen to your blade. If this skill levels up to max, you might even be able to physically fly through the void in reality. 2 hours later, you decisively log off. Info fee deducted, 600. Mecha wear and tear fee deducted, 1,500. But you don't care at all. You take off the helmet, your stomach cramping from hunger. This is the price of crazy genetic evolution. Without a word, you grab the battery and keep charging. The electric current surges in again. This time, you notice your body's electricity capacity has increased by a full 10%. The limits of your physical body are being forcefully stretched out. After the hunger fades away, you clench your fists tightly, your brain unusually calm. The bird slashing efficiency still isn't high enough. In supersonic mode, my eyes can't track every trajectory at all, accurately grasping the core of the problem. You need stronger reflexes. You need the ability to see all movement trajectories clearly. Tomorrow at work, I must at all costs grind out a dynamic vision skill. You secretly grit your teeth. To hell with elite monopolies. To hell with genetic blockades. As long as you have the time, sooner or later you're going to smash this oppressive era completely to pieces. You yank out the charging plug from your body, wipe some milk from the corner of your mouth, and decisively put on a virtual helmet again. The targets are clear: rats and birds. As long as you can grind skills, you don't care how others see you. This 100+ ton steel beast, the blade mecha you're piloting, stomps heavily into the tall grass. Splat. Dynamic vision +1. Taking care of. A small animal doesn't just feel good, it makes you stronger. But you have no idea that on a cliff 50 kilometers ahead, perfectly blended into its surroundings, an eerie figure has already locked dead onto you. Sir, target has appeared, a woman with a hoarse voice reports. Mutant killer, Jean Foucauldi, stares at the battered mecha covered in bombs on the screen, and ruthlessly orders the usual rules. Cut off its escape route. I'm going to dismantle this piece of junk inch by inch, and make him utterly despair. Jean Fu is fully confident she's got you trapped. Who knew that you, having reached the end of the plains, look at the 10-meter tall wild grass ahead, and suddenly find searching for rats in the grass too much of a hassle. Screw searching. You violently yank the control stick. The mecha executes an extreme drift, abandoning the plains entirely, and rumbles straight up toward the mountainside. This turn is extremely smooth and completely disregards fair play. It totally leaves the Jean Fu squad, who are lying in ambush far away, waiting to backstab you while you farm the plains, staring in dumbfounded shock. At the same time, tens of kilometers away, the 4 mutants of the Jean Fu squad are all stunned. They rack their brains but can't figure out why you'd suddenly abandon the plains and dive straight into the mountain gullies. You couldn't care less what those guys hiding in the dark think. You pilot the mecha to activate the jetpack, bounding between the peaks, wildly like a giant steel beast. In less than 5 minutes, you arrive at the target mountain range. The mecha's cheap radar goes completely blind here, but your sonar mastery skill works absolute wonders at this moment. Closing your eyes, waves of noisy, eerie ultrasound map out the contours of the mountain's interior in your mind. Found you. You pull out a shockwave bomb. Set the timer. Aim at a downward-sloping cave opening about 5 or 6 meters wide. And chucking hard. Boom! A plume of black dust mixed with energy fragments spews wildly out of the cave. Sonar mastery +1. Sonar mastery +1. A dense cluster of skill prompts floods the screen again. However, this attack kicks the hornet's nest. Thousands of bats are startled, swarming out like a massive black cloud, madly from every fissure. Eventually, they spiral down into a deep valley not far away. You glance at the skill panel. It's just a tiny bit away from a breakthrough. You lock your eyes on that bat-filled valley, a crazy smirk curving on your lips. You unfasten that single miniature hydrogen bomb. Right at this moment, Jean Fu's group of 4 finally uses their bio-camouflage, gliding silently like 4 mini-mechas through the cliffs. Right above your head, they draw their battle blades, ready to suppress you completely. Die, you foul beasts. You have no idea there are people above you. You just stare at the valley and violently hurl the micro H-bomb. Then you turn your head and sprint away in a frantic retreat. Boom! The micro H-bomb detonates. A terrifying energy shockwave instantly tears the entire valley apart. Who would have thought? Before you even have time to admire the bat remains littering the ground. Out of nowhere, mid-air explosions reveal. For many mechas cloaked in rainbow halos. The energy impact of the hydrogen bomb completely paralyzed their bio-stealth systems. They get blasted into the sky like torn burlap sacks. Holy crap, what the hell are those? You're dumbfounded. Bastard, I'll kill you. The 4 from a Jean Fu squad in midair are thoroughly enraged. Forcefully stabilizing themselves, they turn into 4 blurs and raise their strange long blades, slashing down right at your head. You instinctively activate your jetpack to run for it. But right in this split second, Atehifini orbital being 1,000 times brighter than the sun, strikes down furiously from space without warning. The screen goes black once again. You slump in the cockpit, completely numb. What the hell? I was just farming mobs. Who? Just orbital nuke me again. Meanwhile, Jean Fu, who luckily ducked into a cave and survived the strike, looks at her 3 subordinates instantly vaporized outside, breathing weakly with blood spilling from her lips. She hysterically curses out the mole. There's definitely a mole. Those Federation bastards. She couldn't possibly imagine that this shot was just the base's automated defense system, clearing out high-risk targets. Mecha piloting +16. You watch the skill skyrocketing in your mind, and then look at that familiar email in your inbox from before. Friendly fire from base remote defense system. Free replacement issued. The burning rage in your chest just keeps rising. You immediately alt-tab to call customer service. I want to change bases. Your game is anti-human. You keep blasting players with orbital cannons over nothing. I'm taking you to court. You unleash hell on customer service. Incredibly furious. Apologies. Changing bases is currently not supported. The customer service rep is as thick-skinned as ever. You sneer. Can't change it, huh? Fine. Then compensate me with 300 shockwave bombs and 300 micro-hydrogen bombs. If not, I'm going to expose you to the entire internet. After a long 30-second silence, 500 shockwave bombs, 100 micro H-bombs at most. Do we have a deal? Deal. You're so excited you almost jump up. You were just making an exorbitant demand. But the other side actually compensated you with tens of millions of gold coins worth of munitions. With this batch of firepower, what do I have to fear? Level 1 threats? If they dare mess with me, I'll absolutely just level the map. You decisively log off. Lying in the bathtub, you can't wait to check your panel. Sonar Mastery, Grandmaster. You take a deep breath, staring at the ceramic mug on the sink. You don't even use a tiny bit of force. You just lightly rub your fingertips together. Snap. A crisp finger snap. Crack, crash. The ceramic mug 7 or 8 meters away. In an instant, explodes into countless pieces without any warning. You suddenly stand up in the bathtub, water splashing everywhere. You stare at your hands in horror and amazement, your heart pounding wildly. Metal, glass, wood, like a madman who just got a new toy. You frantically test it all over the room. As long as you snap your fingers and adjust the frequency, within 10 meters, any hard object will completely shatter into pieces within the invisible sound waves. Right now, in reality, you're a humanoid weapon in the truest sense of the word. The next day, you arrive at the company on time. Boss Lu Jijia assigns you a task. Go inside the Dome Entertainment City and do the cleaning for the exhibition hall outside the Idol concert. From 10 p.m. to 4 a.m., you arrive at the scene and pick up your work ID and a push vacuum cleaner. The job is extremely simple. Just push the cart around the empty 1,000-square-meter exhibition hall. You can do this job for 40 days. Not only is the pay good, but nobody bothers you. It's simply perfect. After work, you head back to the dorm and don't even bother looking around the place. You put the helmet straight on and dive right back into mecha world. You have no idea that right now on the game forums, Bird Slasher Bro has become completely synonymous with a total lunatic. Everyone thinks you're a masochist, but the moment your brand new mecha walks out of the base gates, all the players secretly monitoring you gasp in shock. Your thighs are covered in shockwave bombs. Both mechanical arms are strapped full of explosives, and even right in front of the chest reactor, you've tightly bound 2 micro-hydrogen bombs. Your most primitive, rust bucket blade mecha now looks like an absolute, terrifying suicide click, carrying a furious, violent aura of, "Whoever blocks me, I'll drag them to hell with me." You rumble out into the wasteland. Chun Fan, the hunting hour has begun. Meanwhile, deep underground in the mutant base, Foxface King looks at your bomb-covered suicide truck on the screen, so terrified he forcefully swallows all his kill orders. He wouldn't dare send anyone. Who the hell would dare mess with a lunatic ready to take everyone down with him at any second? But you couldn't care less about any mutants. All you see right now is prey. You pilot the mecha, jetpack furiously blasting, and jump violently between the mountain peaks. You plunge headfirst into the abandoned underground nest of the mutant lizards. The radar is severely jammed here, but doesn't matter to you. Lugging the 5-meter-long plasma greatsword, you crash head-on into an over 2-meter-tall, giant underground bull with 3 terrifying upright horns. Without a single second of hesitation, you slash downwards. Bang! The giant bull hits the ground. Charge +1. At that very moment, the real you suddenly feels a wave of incredibly violent genetic combustion. Your stamina is instantly drained. You're forced offline, grab a carton of special milk, and chug it down. At the same time, you tightly hug the new 50,000 kilowatt-hour battery. Only after draining a full 50% of the charge does that near-death exhaustion finally fade. Your eyes are terrifyingly bright. For the charge skill to consume this much energy, it means it can directly and powerfully enhance your physical constitution in reality. I'm going to farm these bulls. Eyes bloodshot, you dive back into the game. You turn into a ruthless butcher, slaughtering 11 giant bulls in one breath, until you grind charge to maximum level. Next, you display superhuman patience and ruthlessness. You haul the energy corpses of the 11 giant bulls, all into a long, narrow, high-ceilinged underground tunnel. With radar turned off, you crouch in a blind spot above the tunnel like a ghost. Waiting quietly, you're baiting the trap. You want to use these scattered prime remains to lure over every monster on the second underground floor. 1 hour, 2 hours. You wait a full 5 hours. Down below, dense sounds of tearing and chewing echo out. Over 1,000 mutant underground lizards cram into the narrow tunnel. Feeding frantically, you bare your teeth in a cruel grin. You pull out 2 shockwave bombs and hurl them violently toward both ends of the tunnel. Boom! A terrifying chimney effect occurs inside the narrow tunnel. The massive shockwave instantly crushes the floor full of lizards to dust. Camouflage +1. Dynamic vision +1. Looking at the prompts madly, spamming the screen, you feel so good it sends tingles down your spine. But this isn't enough. You jump down the tunnel and shove that micro-hydrogen bomb under the most intact giant bull carcass, setting the detonation countdown for 5 hours. Eat up. Have some more. Have a full meal before you hit the road. You let out a cold sneer. brush yourself off, and immediately recall back to the city and log off. In reality, standing in front of the bathroom mirror, you activate Master of Camouflage. Your facial muscles writhe crazily, and even your bones make subtle grinding sounds. A minute later, a face you're incredibly familiar with appears in the mirror. A top female celebrity. You touch this face. The intense physiological discomfort almost makes you throw up. It's really disgusting. You immediately revert to your original appearance. But you know, this ability is basically invincible in the real world. A godly skill for an assassin. You collapse onto the bed in exhaustion and fall into a deep sleep. However, exactly 4 hours later, a rapid string of notifications suddenly explodes deep in your mind. An extremely sudden and terrifying stream of data. Stealth plus 32. Stealth plus 8. Stealth plus 4. You spring out of bed like you've been electrocuted. Plus 32. You know exactly what this means. This is a genuine level 1 creature. Your H-bomb managed to hook a really big fish. Your greed completely overpowers all reason in that moment. You smash open the gaming pod with ferocious energy to log back in. Buy the most expensive flight attachment. Push your mecha's speed to the absolute limit, and dive like a madman toward the underground. Inside the cave tunnel, it has already been blasted into a radioactive ruin by the nuclear explosion. Among a pile of wreckage, you immediately spot that tiger-sized, giant silver rat. The remains. I'm rich. You let out an extremely excited, wild roar. You don't even care about the remains of other mutant creatures around. You pull out a large sack, roughly stuff the silver rat inside, throw it over your shoulder, and turn and run. The bounty for a level 1 creature is massive. You absolutely can't let anyone steal it. You dash back to base 16 like lightning. When you slam that sack radiating golden hair down with a bang at the quest submission counter, all the base's NPC admins are completely dumbfounded. A newbie driving a broken, basic blade mecha brought back the remains of a level 1 mutant rat. Meanwhile, high up in the sky, tens of thousands of kilometers away, aboard a 100-kilometer-long interstellar battleship, a stunningly beautiful female officer, with a cold expression, wearing a Federation Major general uniform, is staring intently at the report in her hands. Immediately activate the S-Class lab to extract this rat's genes. The female general's voice is freezing cold, yet reveals absolute shock. Grant this player a military rank. Recruit him. The scene cuts back to the base. The admin looks at you with a face full of smiles. Dear player, in view of your outstanding contribution, the Federation has decided to grant you a military rank. You will receive. I don't want it. I just want the money. You unceremoniously interrupt him. Your purpose is extremely clear. This is the real deal. Taking a military rank means being forcibly drafted. You become cannon fodder for those higher-ups. Dream on. The admin chokes for a second, wiping away cold sweat. In that case, for turning in a special class mutant creature, the reward is 50 million gold coins. Additionally, we'd like to spend 5 million gold coins to buy your combat recording of this. Deal. Send the money, quick. 55 million gold coins. Looking at the massive number that instantly inflated your account, you laugh out loud and decisively log out of the game. And right now, aboard the space battleship, the iceberg female general is watching the combat recording you sold them. You set a devious trap, brutally detonated the bombs, and finally buried a hydrogen bomb under the wreckage, scheming to kill a level 1 stealth rat that had lived for who knows how many years and was extremely timid and cautious. This female general, who is used to brutal battlefields, now has her red lips parted in shock, looking at that glaring line of text on the report. She is speechless for a long time. This special creature's ability is actually invisibility. She couldn't have imagined that the newbie on the ground, haggling over a few gold coins, devious and cunning, had already grasped godlike power in reality. Meanwhile, on the space battleship tens of thousands of kilometers above the surface, the usually ice-cold Major General Captain now has both hands pressed hard against the table, trembling with excitement. Intact remains. Are you sure? That rat actually has the invisibility gene. Confirmed, Captain. But the risk of extracting a level 1 invisibility gene is extremely high. According to the Alliance's supreme secrecy law, we must wait for SS rank commissioners to intervene. Immediately cut off all the battleship's external communications. Activate the highest level combat system. The female captain roars sternly, the fanaticism in her eyes almost catching fire. From now on, any aircraft that dares to approach this battleship, no warning needed. Blast it out of the sky. Invisibility. This is an ultimate weapon capable of overturning the entire Federation's warfare landscape. As for you, currently wearing a cleaner's uniform, inside Dome Entertainment City's dimensional mecha exhibition hall, pushing a vacuum cleaner, you head home after work. You don't even bother to sleep, impatiently logging into the game forum. Want to check the background of those monsters. But when you see the prices, you start cursing out loud right then and there. Level 1 Poison Moth data, 50,000 gold coins. Level 1 Forest Python, 1 million. This is robbery. You think I'm a sucker? You let out a cold sneer and decisively close the database. Anyway, you only deal with small animals. Who cares about those boss-level monsters? However, the moment you click on the trending posts, the smile on your face completely freezes. Hanging prominently at the top are several glaring words. Global 5 million gold coin bounty. Wanted globally. The perverted madman, Brother Birdslayer. You click on a look, and it's all about condemning you for harming small animals, calling you a psychopath in real life, who should be caught and sliced up for research. Animal protection organizations have even offered astronomical prices just to dig up your real-life identity. You gasp, a layer of cold sweat instantly breaking out on your back. Screw you all. Who did I even provoke? Lidicursis viciously. But you are also completely wide awake now. You have to keep this all-account strictly hidden. Whoever dares to expose your secret, you'll eliminate them first. Over the next few days, the outside world goes completely crazy because Dimensional Company released a space button that can fit a mecha into a pocket. It fell into an absolute frenzy. Stock prices skyrocketed. The outside of the exhibition hall is packed tight every day. But what the hell does that have to do with you? You don't watch the spectacle, and you don't go over there to be cannon fodder. You lock yourself in your cramped, rented room, and like a madman, frantically train the terrifying power you just obtained. You stand in front of the floor-to-ceiling window and snap your fingers crisply. 100 meters away, a leaf falling in the wind in the garden is instantly shattered by invisible sound waves into extremely fine powder, 0.3 seconds precision guidance, hurting enemies invisibly. You turn around and walk to the full-length mirror in the bathroom. You take a deep breath and activate Master of Disguise for 1 second. Your muscles and bones let out a teeth-grinding friction sound. In an instant, you turn into the face of a stunning female celebrity. A second later, you become a cold, muscular man. Still not enough. You stare at the mirror with a ruthless look and directly channel the energy within your body, activating the ability that even the space fleet went crazy for. Invisibility. Swish. The person in the mirror vanishes out of thin air. No optical distortion. No sados. It's as if you've been completely erased from existence in this world. Looking at the empty mirror, you crack a smile and let out an extremely arrogant chuckle. With this set of trump cards, even if Federation Army agents come knocking on your door, you dare to subdue them, right under their noses. A few days later, bored out of your mind, you wander around the free exhibition area of Dome Entertainment City. You were just taking a casual look, but right then, your keen intuition suddenly starts blaring alarms. You look down from above and see a blonde middle-aged man standing in the crowd below. He's smiling very brightly, very appropriately, but in your enhanced dynamic vision, and under the perception of Master of Disguise, he stands out blatantly like a searchlight in the dark night. It's fake. You are deeply shocked. That face is an extremely advanced biological disguise. A few minutes later, in another corner, you spot a second disguised blonde man. You don't dare to look too much. You immediately blend into the crowd and quietly withdraw from the entertainment center. But trouble still came, knocking at your door. As you're almost at the gate of the high-end community you rent in, a red-haired young man brushes past you. In that instant, his highly aggressive gaze sweeps over you like a venomous snake. Your scalp instantly tingles with a bang. You'd bet your life on it. The disguise aura on this guy is exactly the same as those two blonde men from earlier. Moreover, there's extremely dangerous greed hidden in his eyes. What you don't know is that the red-haired youth with his back to you right now is curling his lips into a cruel sneer. So it's this trash named Chun Fan. Huh. I really don't know why the employer is paying a high price for this trash's life. Whatever, it doesn't matter. When night falls, I'll crush his defenses inch by inch and see what secrets he actually has. The red-haired youth heads straight toward Dome Entertainment City, while you stand frozen in place, your face turning completely grim. Where can you hide? They even know where you live. They're clearly targeting your real-life identity. A flash of extremely fierce, murderous intent crosses your eyes. Since you can't hide, let's see who finishes who. Right as you're frantically running through counterattack plans in your head, your wristband suddenly vibrates. Boss, Lou Gigia's call comes in without any warning. Chun Fan, come to the company immediately. There's great news. The moment you get the ticket, you stare your boss, Lou Gigia, in front of you, your heart sinking heavily. Your extremely enhanced sound wave controls. Passive feedback tells you that this usually smiling man in front of you is wrapped in a layer of terrifyingly distorted energy field around his body. He is a hidden high-level genetic evolver. Thanks, boss. You nod expressionlessly. Take that extremely expensive third-day concert ticket and turn to leave. This world is truly surreal. Even the boss of a cleaning company is hiding his true power. But you don't have time to worry about him right now. Your mind is completely focused on the red-haired youth you bumped into in the neighborhood. Since he showed up in your high-end community, it means he lives there. Late that night, you don't go to sleep, but instead, you silently sneak up to the roof garden of the dormitory building. Sure enough, on the roof opposite yours, that red-haired youth is standing with a blonde man. You lie in the dark and prick up your ears. We make our move the night after tomorrow. When we evacuate, we'll conveniently grab that cleaner from the building opposite us. That kid is worth 30 million credit points. The red-haired man sounds relaxed, as if discussing picking up a piece of trash. 30 million for an ordinary citizen. The blonde man is a bit surprised. What secret is he hiding? We'll take him away first and study him carefully. The grand feast is about to begin. After lying dormant for centuries, it's time for this world to get reacquainted with our Count Han. Hearing this, you lie in the shadows, anger mixed with murderous intent rushing straight to your head. You viciously curse these two guys in your heart. 30 million? Conveniently Grammy for research? You really think I'm just a fat sheep you can slaughter at will? You want to charge over and take them down right now. But you hold back. They are an organization. If they're planning a terrorist attack at the concert, they definitely have a trump card. To be absolutely safe, you decisively spend 3 million credit points to buy a top-spec military life detector on the black market. Back in the bathroom, you turn on the detector and then activate invisibility. Your entire person vanishes into thin air in the mirror. And that device, capable of scanning a rat 10 meters underground, remains dead silent. Not even a single alarm sounds. Perfect. Your mouth curls into a sinister sneer. The next afternoon, holding the ticket, you swagger right into the Dome Entertainment City's concert venue. Pop idol Lieto, wearing a princess dress, is singing and dancing on stage. However, after listening for just 1 minute, your expression changes. Your brain feels like it's being pierced by needles. The singing that ordinary people enjoy is clearly, in your enhanced perception, waves of ultra-high frequency sound waves, carrying mental interference. This Lieto is actually a sound wave genetic evolver too. You feel a wave of nausea, and without hesitation, you turn and leave the venue, stepping outside the stadium. As the cold wind blows, your mind races. Yesterday, the red-haired guy said they'd make their move the day after tomorrow, which means tomorrow. You've checked the schedule. Tomorrow night, the big shots from the Alliance. Senate will be attending the show in person. These lunatics are going to hijack top officials tomorrow. You instantly piece together all the logic. That night, you go clean the exhibition hall as usual. The moment you enter, you habitually snap your fingers extremely covertly. The moment the sound wave feedback returns, your pupils shrink violently. The exhibition mechas that were just piles of dead iron a few days ago all have their internal circuits powered on today. Even that battered blade mecha is in standby mode. They're planning to steal the mechas and launch a strong assault. If these terrorists manage to mount high-frequency laser cannons next door, the entire entertainment center will turn into an inferno. After work, you don't return to your room at all. You strip naked and activate invisibility. like a non-existent ghost. You sneak all the way to the door of the red-haired guy's rented apartment. Your sonar radar confirms nobody is inside. You get close to the door lock and snap a silent finger. The core metal components inside the lock shatter instantly. You push the door open and enter. The room is tidied up very cleanly, but immediately after, your eyes lock onto a black security box on the table. It's Dimensional Company's custom combination box. You carefully pick the latch open. Inside, resting quietly, is a device the size of car key. Embedded on it is a radiant energy stone. The space button, it holds the mecha they are using as their trump card. Looking at this black-tech strategic weapon, capable of overturning the battle, your heart beats like a drum. But then, an extremely cruel, an excited smile creeps onto your face. You pull out a high-quality replica button craft. You bought for 800,000 during the day from your pocket. Stuff the real thing into your pocket and place the fake one back into the box, just as it was. You think of the red-haired guy's arrogant face, saying he'd trade you for 30 million, and sneer out loud. Robbery, huh? Arrogant, huh? I just stole all your main assets. You turn and leave, without leaving a single trace. Tomorrow, when these guys get ready to whip out their mecha and slaughter everyone, you're really looking forward to seeing their despairing and dumbfounded expressions when they press a piece of scrap plastic toy, handled in previous line. Once you get back home, you tightly grip that space button you just stole, your hands and feet shaking uncontrollably. It's not fear, it's extreme excitement. You can clearly feel the wildly destructive energy, capable of destroying the world inside the energy stone. By comparison, the rechargeable batteries you usually use are simply trash. Can I just absorb it directly? Your eyes turn ruthless, and you directly channel your internal ability. Boom! A surge of extremely pure energy, like a bursting river, frantically pours into your limbs and bones. The thrill of your entire body filling with explosive power. Feels so good you almost let out a low roar. As long as I have this thing, from now on, I'll be a walking humanoid fusion reactor. The next evening, you act like nothing happened and arrive at Dome Entertainment City on time. As expected, Dimensional Company's exhibition hall doors are shut tight. Those executives inside, having lost their priceless treasure, probably want to severely punish their bodyguards. Boss Lu Jijia takes out the termination contract for you to sign and settle your pay. Seriously, what the hell is Dimensional Company doing? You sign your name, sneering wildly in your heart. What are they doing? Their ultimate trump card is right here in my pants pocket. However, the moment you guys are about to leave, the exhibition hall's bulletproof glass is instantly smashed to powder. A massive blue mecha, like a furious beast, bursts through the wall. Immediately after, several figures wearing bizarre medieval armor, with flowing blonde hair, charge into the crowd like grim reapers. Count Hong, Lu Jijia, lets out a voice-cracking scream, throwing all his boss demeanor out the window. He ditches you and runs for his life. You are swept up by the completely maddened crowd, forced backwards as they pack tightly around you. Looking back, a few high-frequency lasers flash. Several genetic evolvers in the crowd who tried to resist don't even have time to use their powers, and instantly burst into flames under the extreme heat, turning into balls of fire. Everyone get inside. Anyone not in the concert hall in 20 minutes will be killed without mercy. The mecha raises its cannon, letting out a cruel mechanical roar. At the same time, the giant holographic screen in the center of the entertainment city lights up. That extremely arrogant, red-haired youth you saw in your neighborhood appears. Under his foot is an ashen-faced, pale fat man. That's the Speaker of the Alliance Senate, holding a knight's sword glowing with an azure light. He points it one by one at the kneeling tycoons, aristocrats, and high officials. Count Hong, dormant for centuries. Today, we announce our return through action. The red-haired youth laughs sickly and wildly. Without any hesitation, he swings the sword down. Slash! The head of the Ontai Bank shareholder flies right off. Blood sprays tonight. The crowd erupts into the most despairing screams. Amidst the frantic stampede, you are forcefully squeezed right next to that standby blade mecha. Because of the explosions, the fire suppression system is spraying white foam wildly. The scene is extremely chaotic. Right at this moment, you touch the cold armor of the mecha. The space button in your pocket generates an extremely strong resonance. It's as if this multi-ton steel behemoth has become a part of your body. You recall the red-haired guy's wild words about conveniently grabbing you for research. An extremely fierce, cold glint flashes in your eyes. You like staging terrorist attacks, huh? Arrogant, huh? You curse these guys inwardly and directly activate the space button. Swish! Right under the terrified eyes of tens of thousands of people, under the cover of the fire foam flying everywhere. This backup mecha belonging to the terrorists vanishes into thin air instantly. Let's see what you fight with later. Immediately after, a few muffled thumps come from underground. The sewer manhole covers shoot up into the sky. Dark green toxic gas gushes out. We've added some good stuff to the underground pipe network. Stay inside obediently if you don't want to die. The red-haired youth on the screen continues his arrogant speech. You don't have time to listen to his nonsense at all. Taking advantage of the chaos, you charge straight toward the brain of this building, the control center. The whole way is littered with fragmented remains and glaring laser scorch marks. You find a blind spot. Rip off your clothes as formidable energy instantly wraps around your body. Invisibility fully activated, turning into an invisible ghost. You silently slip into the pantry, next to the control center. Hiding under the pitch-black counter, you just cancel the highly energy-consuming invisibility state. When two cold-blooded voices come from outside the door. Captain, the high-radiation bombs have been planted. Excellent. The military's top powerhouses will definitely storm in here right away. To seize control, as soon as they enter, detonate them immediately. Turn them all to ashes. Hearing this, hiding in the shadows, you clench your fists tightly. The most vicious curses erupt in your heart. These villains are actually setting a trap in the control center to bomb the rescue troops to death. Since you want to play with your lives, I'll bury you all right here today. Done? Then get over here and assemble. An explosive shout echoes from the corridor. Yes, Captain. Hiding in the pitch-black corner of the pantry, you even stop breathing. You originally wanted to go invisible and slip away, but outside it's airtight like an iron barrel, full of experts. There's also fire foam everywhere. That would expose you. There's no way out at all. Right at this moment, a terrorist in black armor, holding a cylindrical high-radiation bomb, charged headlong into the room where you're hiding. The two of you are inches apart. You don't hesitate at all. Murderous intent flashes in your eyes. The instant he lowers his head, you drop your invisibility. Your hands shoot out, wrapping tightly around his head, and you give a hard twist. Crack! Without even a scream, the guy twitches all over and turns into a cold corpse. Battleship maintenance. +8 flashes through your mind. You don't have time to care about that. In a few quick moves, you strip off his helmet and armor and put them on yourself. Then you activate Disguise Master, reshaping your face into the likeness of this blonde foreigner. Taking a deep breath, you swagger right out and blend into the squad of these maniacs. Then you follow the main force to the center stage of the Dome concert. The crowd of over 100,000 is dead silent. That guy in the flashy, silver armor with red hair is standing right in the middle of the stage, stepping on a dozen broken corpses. Around him, 20 heavy mechs have their dark muzzles locked onto the 100,000 spectators in the stands. We've planted all over this building. Over 600 high-radiation bombs. The red-haired youth laughs wildly, his voice echoing through the arena. With the press of a single button, all you ordinary people here will turn to ash. You answer just wasting air being alive. You should just be reduced to stinking dust, to serve as fertilizer for our empire's revival. Hearing the word ants, your eyes instantly become bloodshot under the helmet. You curse this arrogant bastard out. I'm just an ordinary citizen, and you high and mighty elite lapdogs come my turf to show off. But right then, boom, the rubble of the underground passage violently explodes. An old man turns into a blur, carrying a terrifying pressure, and lunges straight at the red-haired youth. Someone exclaims, but the red-haired youth doesn't even dodge, letting the palm strike hit his chest. Light flashes on the silver armor. A terrifying rebound force sends the old man flying backward, spitting blood. Ha ha ha. A washed-up ancient martial artist can only be a dog for the elites. The red-haired youth is arrogant to the extreme. He turns his back to you, raises his sword, pointing at the terrified faces of the 100,000 people. If you don't surrender in 10 seconds, I'll wipe everyone out. Looking at his ugly face treating lives like weeds and civilians like fertilizer. Your mind just snaps. To hell with laying low. To hell with hiding my identity. You happen to be standing right behind him. You abruptly raise your high-frequency laser gun, pressing the muzzle right against the back of his head. No bullshit. No hositastian. You pull the trigger. Puffed. That extremely arrogant head, which was about to give a divine judgment speech, gets vaporized instantly by the high-energy beam. Golden energy specks scatter. Battleship piloting plus 16. Over 100,000 people in the arena, including the black armored terrorists, are totally dumbfounded. Kill the traitor. The Black Knights snap out of it and roar madly. Countless laser guns immediately lock onto you. But you're faster. You crush the spatial button in your pocket. Boom! An Ahmetatai, 108 tombladmek, crashes out of thin air onto the center stage like an ancient behemoth. Your vision blurs, and you're already sitting in the familiar mech cockpit. The feeling is like this steel beast has become your own limbs. Mech damaged. Warning alarms blare wildly. The Black Knights' lasers hit your armor. Your eyes are ice cold. You push the rocket backpack to the max, blasting a blinding exhaust flame. A 5-meter plasma sword pops out instantly, its blade flashing with a blue electric light that cuts through everything. A Mach 5 charge, piloting the 108-ton steel beast. You crash into the crowd of Black Knights, like a meteor from outer space. So-called energy armor, in front of absolute mass and speed. It's all a joke. Bang, bang, bang. Human bodies are like fragile eggs, crushed by the mech in midair, turning into splatters. Meanwhile, the 20 enemy mechs blocking the exits panic and quickly turn their guns. But this is exactly the chance you've been waiting for. Earlier, while cleaning the exhibition hall, you used sonic detection to figure out the internal wiring of these mechs completely. You know exactly where their weak points are. You steer the mech into a tactical slide, dodging a laser cannon, a backhand slash. Rip! The toughest 12-meter tall blue mech gets its cockpit pierced precisely by your blade. Man and machine are scrapped instantly. Battleship maintenant plus 16. You pull the sword back, spin, and do a follow-through slash. Onbon Company's silver mech has its left leg joint precisely cut off. The massive body instantly loses its balance and crashes to its knees. You follow up with a kick, landing right on the right shoulder energy node of another elite inlaid mech. That mech immediately acts like it's having a seizure, collapsing on the ground and twitching violently. At this very moment, the online live stream is going crazy. In the Alliance Parliament Hall, the politicians who were just bickering are staring at the screen, their eyes nearly popping out. An absolute ace mech pilot. This has to be a military god of war, taking out a mech with every strike. Who the hell is this? Meanwhile, the executives of the mech conglomerates, watching the live stream, as their proud weapons of war are slaughtered like chickens, having their vitals precisely cut by you, almost have a stroke from anger. Damn it, our silver mech system. Weaknesses are exposed. Ping and Company's mech weakness is actually on the right shoulder. Write it down quickly. In the cockpit, you stomp and crush the last enemy mech trying to fight back. You lift the 5-meter-long, oil-dripping plasma blade, looking around the arena like a demon god. Trying to take me on? Today, I'll smash you noble knights to pieces. Being locked onto by the heavy firepower of 20 heavy mechs would make anyone else piss their pants. But sitting in the blade mech cockpit, your energy is boiling fiercely. If you run now, there are official troops and aerospace fighters all over outside, wearing this Black Knight skin. Going out means certain death. You be a scapegoat without even knowing why. Since there's no way out, let's just finish them. You scan the area and instantly find a deadly blind spot. These guys grabbed all the range firepower. The mechs didn't bring melee weapons at all. A bunch of idiots. Break them all for me. You curse these guys out harshly. Immediately after, your hands pull a terrifying blur across the control console. Boom! The energy shield on the mech's left arm powers up to the max. The colorful glow forcibly tanks a wave of high-frequency lasers. You push the throttle, and the rocket backpack spews a blinding tail flame. The 100-ton steel beast lifts off the ground, leaping up like a god descending from heaven. The 5-meter plasma blade, carrying a destructive blue light, chops down a heavy mech that was just showing off. Can't even let out a scream. before being instantly split in half from head to toe. Boiling engine oil mixed with golden light. Bursts blindingly. Landslide. Curve dash. Your moves in the cockpit are literally like dancing on the edge of a blade. These terrorists wouldn't even be fit to carry your shoes in a game. You steer the mech in an incredibly bizarre feint, dodging 2 particle beams. A backhand sweeping strike. Rip. Another attempting to escape. Black mech gets sliced in half at the waist. The scene is in total chaos. Those terrorists have no command whatsoever. Completely disorganized. Shoot him. Are you blind? You just hit me with a laser. How do you aim this stupid cannon? Hearing the enemies panicking and fighting each other on the public channel. You sneer. Right then, a few more messages flash in your mind. Battleship maintenant plus 8. Battleship maintenant plus 16. You suddenly realize, no wonder these guys pilot so poorly. They're no ace mech pilots at all. They're all just battleship maintenance workers subbing in. You're on a killing spree, chasing the remaining dozen mechs around the arena and smashing them. Suddenly, a loud boom echoes. The massive dome overhead is blown open with a terrifying hole. The military's aerospace fighters outside have finally moved in. Time to run. You're extremely decisive. You charge and slash down the last mech. Then turn and dive into the basement beneath the stage. In the pitch-black basement, you take a deep breath and grab the spatial button in your pocket. Swish! The massive mech, along with that Black Knight suit, is instantly stored into the pocket dimension, and you land firmly in an invisible state. Awesome! You scream in your mind. This spatial button can actually take both the mech and the person. This makes sneak attacks completely invincible. You slip away along the original path like a ghost. Back to the stands, find a blind spot, and drop your invisibility. Changing into your cleaning uniform, you blend into the crowd of panicking civilians running away. An hour later, outside the Dome Entertainment City, covered in dust, you pass through the resident security check-in line. Chin Fan, are you okay? Suddenly, you hear someone call you. You turn around, and it's your boss who hides his true depth, Lu Jijia. He's chatting up a few cops. Boss, you almost got me killed. You immediately put on a face of a terrified coward and complain loudly. If you hadn't called me over to settle my wages, I would have been a goner. In there today, Lu Jijia quickly pulls you aside and lowers his voice. Sure, it was an accident. The company will apply for emotional distress compensation for you. Take a few days of paid leave. Come on, I'll buy you a drink to calm your nerves. The two of you go to a secluded tea house far away. As soon as you sit down, the holographic TV plays an urgent news broadcast. A fat, pompous Dimension Company executive is boasting on camera. That's right. The one who piloted the Blade mech to turn the tide today is none other than our company's senior executive, an ace mech pilot. You almost spit out your tea. These guys steal credit so naturally. When did I become your senior executive? Don't believe those politicians' bullshit. Lu Jijia sneers, picking up his teacup. Dimension Company spatial button was stolen yesterday. They're riding a tiger and can't get off now. If they dare to admit the mech was stolen, the company will go bankrupt tomorrow, and they'll be treated as terrorist accomplices by the government. They have no choice but to bite the bullet and take the credit for being the hero. Lu Jijia stares at the screen, a hint of shock in his eyes. But seriously, that mech pilot today is absolutely a top-tier master. A 0-13 record. Every strike hit the core weaknesses of the enemy mechs. After today, those mech company stock values will plummet through the earth. Outwardly, you're not along, but inwardly you're thrilled. The wiring maps I saw through sonic detection actually made me look like an ace pilot. Right then, the news screen switches, playing a video of the military suppression. A figure drops from the sky, surrounded by a dark gold curved blade about a dozen centimeters long. That curved blade is like a teleporting flying sword, and in less than 3 seconds, it instantly pierces through the cockpits of 3 enemy mechs. God, what the hell is that? This time you're genuinely shocked. The exclusive ultimate weapon of the Lycong Planet Guardian. Lu Jijia lowers his voice. The core of that thing is made of homogeneous energy stone. Homogeneous energy stone? It perfectly matches the user's energy frequency. Count Hong's silver armor today used this tech too. This stuff lets you use weapons as if they were a part of your body. A trace of fanaticism flashes in Lu Jijia's eyes. Chun Fan, do you know what this means? A boom echoes in your mind. and you suddenly figure everything out. No wonder when you were piloting the blade mech, it felt like swinging your own arms. Because that mech's plasma sword is made of homogeneous energy metal. If the mech can share the same energy source with me, wouldn't that mean I can stay invisible even when piloting the mech? Thinking of a 108-ton heavy mech doing assassinations while invisible, your heart starts pounding wildly. Latest update. The female voice on the TV suddenly gets louder. Count honks. Terrorists have been verified to all come from the Alliance's second-largest logistics giant, Red Crystal Logistics. You suddenly realize, no wonder the guys you defeated were all battleship mechanics. Turns out they were logistics guys in disguise. Liu Jijia watches the news and suddenly grins, smiling like a jackal, sniffing a tempting scent. Chun Fan, our chance to get rich is here. You pause. What do you mean? Red Crystal Company is done for. Those shady underground businesses under their name are about to be carved up by the major factions. But before taking over, someone has to go clean up the dirty stuff inside. Right? Liu Jijia leans in, his tone full of temptation and anticipation. You do cleaning? I run a cleaning company. Let's go clean up for those poor bastards. How about it? You want to buy a house? I can lend you the money. You put down the teacup, your gaze incredibly sharp. You cut him off straight away. By my ass, boss. Is there any hope for a second injection for my failed awakening? Any chance? You stare at Liu Jijia, pretending to be desperate. Fatty Liu rubs his forehead, pretending it's tough, and starts making empty promises. It's difficult, unless we use an extremely expensive secret technique. But if you work hard, I'll report to the head office and use the company's money to train you. If it succeeds, you pay it back slowly. If it fails, you don't have to pay. You sneer in your mind. This guy is really calculating. Gene evolvers have long lifespans. He wants to trap you with a series of debts, making you do illegal work for the company for 80 years. But on the surface, you stand up abruptly, full of gratitude. Boss, don't worry. I almost died this time. I'll absolutely serve the company from now on. All right, take a week of paid leave first. I'll go get your emotional compensation from the Dome Entertainment City. Liu Jijia waves his hand to dismiss you. In the blink of an eye, you're back home, tossing yourself right into the bathtub. With a thought, you pull up your skill panel, skipping over the messy basic stats. Your eyes lock onto the two newly spiked stats. Battleship Maintenance, Advanced Battleship Piloting Ultimate. You gasp. That group of Count Hong extremists you took out yesterday actually had battleship skills. What does this mean? These maniacs have already infiltrated the military fleet like a sieve. You look down at the mech, spatial button in your palm. The homogeneous energy stone gleams faintly. You can clearly sense the mech hidden in the pocket dimension is automatically repairing the battle damage from yesterday. This is the dominance of homogeneous energy metal. You lick your lips, your eyes turning fierce. Now you have to spend all your money where it counts. Get a homogeneous energy cold weapon and arm this mech to the teeth. Early the next day, the entire city's airspace is locked down. It's packed with patrolling aerospace fighters. Anyone who dares to take off gets turned into a sieve instantly. You suppress the urge to go buy weapons immediately and decide to stroll around the community to feel things out. But after a few steps, humming comes from the lakeside. A woman in an oversized hoodie and sunglasses is sitting on a bench. The moment the voice enters your ears, your brain buzzes. Your master-level sonic control, like a provoked radar, goes off with crazy warnings. This song, it carries extremely hidden frequency interference. That messes with your mind. It's Lee Idwa, the female singer from yesterday who can control the crowd with her voice the moment she sings. She was actually relocated to this community too. You don't hesitate at all. Moving swiftly, you decisively turn around and walk away. Mister, the humming behind you stops abruptly. Liadwa can't help but speak, her tone carrying undisguised surprise. Her ability, ordinary people simply can't resist it. How could you just turn around and walk away? Something wrong. You keep walking, throwing back a cold side eye. My humming. Did it bother you? It's noisy. Dropping these words, you disappear around the corner without looking back. You know very well. Your reaction just now has made her suspicious. But that doesn't matter. Right now, you have a more deadly problem to deal with. You suddenly remember something. In your old apartment, there's still a fake ornament identical to the mech button and that weird oil painting on the wall. If the security bureau follows the dome incident trail, you'll definitely be implicated. You rush all the way into the underground garage, checking the camera blind spots. You strip and activate invisibility. You completely blend into the air, turning into a gust of wind heading straight for the corner of your old place. Kicking open the corridor door, you snap your fingers crisply. Sound waves ripple out like water, confirming no one is inside. You don't use a key. Instead, you push with your palm. Crack. Using absolute force, you shatter the internal structure of the lock completely. Check the material. Check the traces. I'll crush the lock core into powder for you. Rushing inside, you grab the fake spatial button from the table and stuff it in your pocket. Right after, you stare intently at the old scroll oil painting on the wall. Your intuition tells you this thing is definitely trouble. You rip down the oil painting scroll and immediately retreat. If someone walked past the hallway right now, they would see an oil painting floating bizarrely in midair, speeding all the way back. 10 minutes later, you're standing in your current basement. Invisibility off. You look down at the hot potato oil painting in your hand, looking grim. If you throw it away, they might trace it back to you. If you burn it, the special material might leave ash. You grit your teeth and stare at the mech button in your hand. Looks like I can only stuff you into the mech's pocket dimension. Your eyes turn totally cold. No matter who's playing chess behind the scenes, as long as they mess with you, you will absolutely pilot the mech and smash their chessboard and plans to pieces with a single strike. Bubbles surge wildly in the bathtub. You stare at the painting underwater, the one even scissors can't cut. You curse it out in your mind. It's actually made of a special metal. You sneer, your hands plunging straight into water. Rip. Wild electrical energy erupts from your fingertips. Under the blinding electric light, that tough canvas instantly turns red and softens, finally melting into a pile of tiny metal grains. You shake your hands, perfectly protected by the light shield. Then you shove the 2 scroll rods into the oven. Heat it up. Grab a basin of cold water and splash it right on. Crack. The jade shatters into pieces and washes away. You let out a long, heavy breath. Now, no one's going to follow the Dome Entertainment City clues to track it back to you. After cleaning up the loose ends, you immediately contact the merchant who sold you the 800K fake space. Button. Return it? No returns once opened. The guy on the other end is arrogant as hell. You don't waste a single breath. You just slap your resident ID code right onto the screen. 3 seconds, fully refunded. Or I'll have your whole family sweeping the slums. 800K, refunded instantly. You sneer. In this world, a high-class, legal resident ID is the best pass you can have. Money back in hand, you immediately hop online to look for a place. Turns out housing prices tanked because of Count Hong's attack. But the government put an emergency freeze on the trading center. Can't buy a house. Guess it's time to train for my life then. You crash face first in a couch and boot up the mecha combat simulator. Select the blade mecha and start a melee duel. Less than a minute after the screen lights up, the VIP mech across from you lands a clean flying kick. Your cockpit is instantly damaged. The screen goes completely black. Insta-killed. You slam your fist onto the console. Face tense. An extremely frantic surge of stubbornness shoots right to your head. Again, relying on hand speed from years of being single. You frantically rewrite the command macros, compressing complex tactical moves into single keystrokes. Knocked down over and over. You step right back in every time. You look for the right feel amidst collisions at Mach 5, treating the mech like your own body. After holding out for 10 minutes, you watch the countdown finally pass the survival mark and pull off your helmet, completely drenched in sweat. Still unconvinced, you click into the ranged combat training. Less than 30 seconds in, the enemy's laser fire pins you down so hard you can't even lift your head. Boom. Black screen again. To hell with ranged combat. You angrily close the interface. Ranged mechs are just for those intelligence-evolved guys, with built-in auto-aim hacks. For someone like you who relies on instinct and hand speed, melee assault is the only way. Just as you tab out of the game, a glaring blood-red pop-up slaps you right in the face. In the video, a guy in golden armor and shoulder-length red hair is standing in a castle. His tone is arrogant as hell. Idin Gaillons. Prepare for Count Red's crazy revenge. Your scalp goes numb. These lunatics even dare to infiltrate the military fleet. If they really bring a warship to bomb the planet, We're all screwed. Trying to escape on a civilian ship? You wouldn't even make it out of the atmosphere. An overwhelming sense of survival crisis tightly grips your throat. I have to get stronger. Right now. Immediately. You turn, step back into the game pod, and spawn directly underground. The entrance is narrow and damp. You pilot the mech, energy shield raised in your left hand, plasma broadsword dragging from your right, and 4 micro-hydrogen bombs strapped right to your armor. Driven to the brink. Anyone messes with me, we're all going down together. You originally planned to farm some mobs on the first floor, to level up your stealth skills. But you hadn't gone far before. Boom! A violent explosion echoes from deep within the tunnel. Even the ground beneath your feet shakes violently. There's a massive mech brawl going on down there. You immediately turn and run. You gotta be kidding me. Mechs cost a fortune to repair. I'm not getting involved in that. To cover your tracks, you stick entirely to the flooded waterways. Winding around and around, you tragically realize you're completely lost. Just as you're about to complain, your view suddenly opens up. A massive sinkhole, nearly 80 kilometers across, lies right in front of you. Beneath the swirling mist is a dense underground jungle. You casually hit the radar for a sweep. Your breathing instantly grows heavy. Your eyes are glued to the red dots on the screen. 1,221. Over 1,200 giant hornless bison. You can't even look away. These aren't just bison. They're a mountain of stat points to make your physique skyrocket and turn you superhuman. But the ecstasy doesn't even last 2 seconds. Your pupils suddenly constrict. A patch of silvery white wreckage at the bottom of the sinkhole is extremely glaring. You zoom in. A sudden chill shoots right up your spine. Several mutants, nearly 3 meters tall, with bizarrely gaunt faces, are tossing around like sacks, easily carrying mech parts weighing over a dozen tons. Thighs and arms, walking through the jungle. Right after that, woo, a deep, eerie horn sounds out. At that eerie sound, those 1,000+ bison you were drooling over act like obedient pets, docilely following the mutants and gathering in one direction. If I took down all 1,200 hornless bison, how high will my stats explode? You look at the herd at the bottom of the sinkhole, and those 20-something gaunt-faced mutants, carrying massive mech parts. The string of reason in your head completely snaps. Only big shots weigh the pros and cons. A nobody like you, pushed to the brink, can only risk it all. You're going to take a gamble. Use that homologous energy stone in reality to toggle on a cheat in this game. Win, and you skyrocket. Lose, and you start from scratch. The jetpack instantly ignites. You pilot the blade mech, launching from halfway up the mountain like a cannonball, using your dynamic vision's absolute precision. You don't waste a single breath in midair. The 4 micro-hydrogen bombs fall like a judgment, smashing straight into the sinkhole. Come on, you monsters. You turn on external speakers, and with the most intense, unyielding fury, you roar down at them. The moment the mutants hear that, their eyes instantly turn blood red. Roaring wildly, they swing the multi-ton mech arms and smash them right into the mid-air hydrogen bombs. Boom! The first hydrogen bomb collides mid-air. A violent shockwave explodes outwards, instantly blasting those leaping gaunt-faced monsters, flying away like ragdolls. And the remaining 3 hydrogen bombs drop with dead accuracy right into the dense herd. Boom! Boom! Charge +1. Charge +1. The screen is flooded with endless pop-ups. At the exact same time, the real you tightly grips that homologous energy stone. Violent energy instantly surges into your body. You feel your strength boil over in an instant. You feel like a volcano on the verge of erupting. You slam the flight stick forward. The mech rides the shockwave straight into the clouds. Below, the thoroughly enraged mutants leap up, swearing to tear you apart. But their stupidity is not realizing that the hydrogen blasts didn't just scatter the herd. They completely blew away the mist hiding the sinkhole. Right after, from tens of thousands of kilometers up, orbital cannons lock onto the exposed, mutated monsters. You hug a sheer cliff, watching as several barrel-thick, blinding lasers rain from the sky. There are no screams. No suspense whatsoever. The mutants who were just acting invincible evaporate into ash in half a second. Now that's real firepower coverage. Mech repair +32. Mech repair +16. Looking at the new skills popping up, you freeze on the spot. These mutants actually drop mech repair. Seems like the abilities you get depend entirely on the target's hidden stats. Then, the screaming air-to-ground fighters roll in. Rows of bunker-buster missiles blast the mutants' counterattacking nest to pieces. Hiding in the dark, watching stealth, and sonic control wildly surge. It feels so good your soul could leave your body. Once the military finishes wiping the area, you eagerly rush down to pick up the scraps. You shoulder a few of the mech broadswords the mutants dropped, thinking you struck it rich. Sorry, this weapon is bound to a specific mech. Cannot be used. The system prompt ruthlessly throws a wet blanket on you. Clueless players on the forums, seeing screenshots of you hauling a bunch of scrap metal, are still posting, mercilessly mocking you as a scrap-collecting loser. You just sneer, casually close the interface, and log out. Loser? The loot I got would scare you all to death. Back in reality, you stare fixedly at your skill panel. Stealth, sonic control, and dynamic vision have all hit Grandmaster level. You grab the metal training weight off the desk with just a little squeeze. The solid metal feels like dough in your hands, instantly twisting and deforming. You grab the piece of jade next to it. You rub it between your hands, and fine powder drifts right through your fingers. Feeling this insanely brutal power, you almost get the illusion that even if a heavy-duty mech stood in front of you right now, you could shatter it with a single punch. At the same time, in the secret conference room of an Alliance gene potion company, the atmosphere has dropped to freezing. Who exactly is responsible for the Count Red incident? The board of directors roaring blasts through the speakers. Deal with that mutant within a month, or both of you are fired. The bald supervisor and the blonde guy in a suit exchange a glance. The two of them are at each other's throats, trading cold sneers and insults. But ultimately, they just grit their teeth and sneer. Let's cooperate, bastard. Your security department better not drag us down. That mutant target is still on the planet. Whoever catches him first gets to report a successful mission. However, these two hunters who think they're master strategists would never imagine that right now you're standing in your apartment, the grin on your face growing wider and wider. The moment Grandmaster Sonic Control kicks in, a god's eye view explodes into your mind. Detection range expands 5-fold. Clarity spikes 10-fold. In the building next door, those self-proclaimed covert gene evolvers can't even hide their heartbeats or the flow of their energy from your ears. Come and get me. You clench your fists, knuckles cracking like firecrackers. Right now, it's really not clear who is the prey. You squeeze that solid metal weight, like it's a lump of soft clay. Squish. The metal deforms, shavings falling through your fingers. Ancient martial arts, gene potions, in the face of your absolute power. They're all complete jokes. You stand in front of the mirror, looking at your disguise as a pot-bellied middle-aged man, and sneer. As long as you're fast enough and punch hard enough, what good are tech weapons? You knock out 500 one-handed push-ups in a single breath, without your heart skipping a single beat. Now you only have one thought in your head. Get gear, crush the guys trying to kill you, and stay alive. Then, you put on a mask and head straight to your company. Boss Fatty Lou sees you and gets straight to the point. Chun Fan, Count Hong's crazy gang will clear this place out sooner or later. We can't stay on this dump of a planet. I'm out, heading to the main branch on another planet. I can guarantee you one gene evolution chance. You sneer internally. This guy's just scared of the danger and wants to run, and he wants to use you as a free bodyguard and pack mule. Boss, let me think about it. You brush him off, turn around, and leave. Run? Right now, you're looking for enemies to farm for loot. Who's got time to be your pack mule? Walking down the street, you purposely stomp your feet, sending sound waves probing 3 meters underground like a radar. If I could just directionally detonate the sonic waves. A brutally cold thought flashes through your mind, but you push it down immediately. Weapons first. You push open the door of a junk shop named Samu Resource Recovery. On the floor, tossed like trash, are hundreds of scavenged energy weapons from space battlefields. The bald boss is gaming with a VR headset. He doesn't even look up. Pick it yourself. 10 million each. No refunds. You don't say a word. Just dive right in. A multiton zone de rameur? Too clunky. A night is lance? Doesn't feel right. Suddenly, your fingertips brush against a dark gray tang blade. The moment you touch it, the violent energy inside you finds an outlet. The tang blade suddenly bursts with blinding fluorescence. The bald boss yanks off his headset and stares at you like he's seen a ghost. My God, over 90% compatibility. What luck. 10 million, charge it. You hold out your account. Totally decisive. But the moment you get off the bus, your nerves suddenly tense up. Someone's tracking you. You calmly walk home, lock the door, and snap your fingers. A Grandmaster sonic wave instantly ripples out in a fan shape, locking right onto a woman 150 meters away. It's her. She followed you all the way. You really think I'm a pushover? Your eyes turn fierce. You snatch up that ruined mech. Spatial button from the desk. Crack. You brutally snap it in half and forcefully pry out the homologous energy stone. You jam it hard into the Tang blade's empty hilt. A miracle happens. The homologous energy stone glows gray. The Tang blade flashes, and it gets sucked right into the spatial storage. With just a thought, the Tang blade instantly materializes, gripped in your hand. Another thought, and it vanishes. You almost laugh out loud. Once I get battle armor, I won't even need to strip before turning invisible. I'll be armed to the teeth. For several days, you hole up at home, grinding out your sonic snapple ass, while keeping a close eye on that woman's movements. Just then, the radar catches something off. There's a man in that woman's room now. They've turned on an anti-eavesdropping jammer. But against your Grandmaster sonic control, that piece of junk jammer is practically useless. You hear their conversation loud and clear. He's a target for our oversight department. Why is security interfering? The woman yells furiously. The man's tone is arrogant as hell, dripping with mockery. You useless trash. You can't even handle a regular civilian. I'm taking over. I'm going to totally crush this rookie and send him to the lab. Now either leave or watch how I deal with him. Hearing this, you don't panic at all. Instead, the corners of your mouth twist up into a brutally cold sneer. Totally crush me? You clench both hands, knuckles cracking loudly. A freezing battle intent that could blow off the roof surges through your chest. You stare at that building 150 meters away, already picturing the fate of those two arrogant idiots. Come on, losers. You mutter softly, voice cold as ice. Let's see who crushes who today. The woman packs her bags and leaves. You lock your eyes on the radar and let out a sneer. Cowards. I'll lure the snake out of its hole today. You put on a mask, push the door open, and stride out. Sure enough, in less than 3 seconds, your sharp sonic radar picks up that man 150 meters away, hurriedly slipping out the door too. His target, your apartment. Want to raid my place? Your mouth twists into a highly dangerous smile. You sharply pivot, heading straight for the underground parking garage. No cameras down in this dump. Perfect place for this. You quickly strip off your jacket, stuff it behind a trash can, and activate your stealth skill. Like a ghost, you drift right back to the front of that man's apartment. 10 minutes later, the guy comes back. He cautiously checks the trap he left in the door frame and pushes the door open. In that 0.1 second gap, you stick right to his back and slip silently into his lair. As soon as he enters, he tosses his coat and pulls out a palm-sized device. Seriously, not even a single hair in this loser's apartment. It's like seeing a ghost. Is he a germaphobe or something? He stares angrily at the screen showing your room. You stand silently beside him, coldly watching him dig his own grave. Suddenly, a light screen project from his wrist and a hologram of an arrogant supervisor pops up. Did you get the sample? Supervisor, the target is too clean. I plan to set up an accident tomorrow. The man reports casually, as if talking about some trivial little chore. Get a biological sample, then make him disappear completely. Leave no trace. The figure on the screen issues a direct kill order, and it's at that exact moment you lock eyes on the logo in the corner of his screen. Ranked number 9 in the Alliance. Sea Hygiene Potion Company. Boom. Everything clicks into place. The original owner, Xiao Yun, wasn't killed in an accident. It was these guys, using live subjects for their new gene drug experiments. And now, they sent someone here, just to retrieve their mutated lab rat. Hanging up the comms, the man suddenly stiffens. He suddenly smells an extremely deadly, dangerous aura. He instinctively tries to turn around. You don't even give him a chance to spit out a single word. With just a thought, the gray energy Tang blade instantly slices through the air, pressed firmly against his throat. No nonsense. A faint flash of energy, and the high heat instantly destroys his defenses. His vision goes black, and he slumps to the floor like a deflated balloon. Combat plus says. You stare at the lifeless body on the ground. Eyes ice cold. Use me as a lab rat? Want to completely crush me? Screw you. You don't even loot his body. When a high-level agent like this dies, the company's biomonitors will definitely trip an alarm. You just wait quietly in stealth. 5 hours later, the cleanup crew arrives. The door is pushed open. That woman in the mask is back. When she sees the remains in the bathtub, she shudders in shock. Immediately, she connects her smartwatch and gets chewed out by the two supervisors from security and oversight. Trash. Useless garbage. It must have been Ansiji. That gray market faction did this. Clean up the scene and get back here now. You watch with relish. Good misunderstanding. Let these megacore plot against each other. Then, a scene that makes your scalp tingle happens. The woman pulls out a gray plastic bag, shoves the man's remains, along with all his tech gear, right inside. Then she crushes 2 small metal vials and drops them in. Sizzle. In less than 5 minutes, a full-grown man, along with that solid metal gear, is reduced entirely to grayish-white powder. She flushes the toilet and washes it all down the drain. You gasp. These are the methods of top-tier megacore. If it weren't for your stealth cheat, you wouldn't even be dust in the sewers right now. Once the woman is far away, you slip back to your place like a ghost. Sitting on the couch, you grit your teeth hard, eyes burning with an insane, fanatical excitement. One single guy taking on a super megacorp. Sounds like suicide. But not only are you unafraid, you're actually thrilling with excitement. When you crush that agent, you didn't feel an ounce of guilt. These guys treat you like a rat, so you'll just be the venomous snake that swallows the elephant. But your strength right now is far from enough. Back to the game. You throw yourself straight back into the game pod. Against a giant corporation with cutting-edge tech like that, a frontal assault is certain death. You need to grind stealth, sonic control, and all these utility skills to max level. That bat cave from before is perfect for sonic control. Your objective is crystal clear. You don't want to waste a single second. However, what you don't know is, the second you step out of the game base, deep underground, the Fox-Faced King and a horde of frenzied mutants thirsty for the bounty have completely locked onto your coordinates. A sinister ambush is already baring its fangs.